I am running late. So this is going to be probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, the quickest update. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the second update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. This project was created by Alexy, who I'll have linked down below, and I am utilizing Lainey's prompts. I'll also have Lainey linked down below. I do not have any rollouts this month, and in fact I haven't got a large amount of use out of a majority of these eyeshadows. But let's stop talking about it and just jump straight in. First up, for random color generator, which was the shade Lime Green, we're working on a shadow from the I Heart Revolution Fruity Pebbles palette, specifically this shadow right here. I will put the last month's versus this month looks over here so you get a really close-up idea. But I have only used this 4 times since the last update, and as you can see, we're not much closer to hitting pan. Though I am enjoying this eyeshadow, I think the other eyeshadows that I'm working on in general is not really leading much for the use of it. So this one will be remaining in the project. Then for a shadow that reminds me of winter, we're working on a shade from the Essence Hello New York eyeshadow palette, specifically this blue one down here. Once again, I'll do the before and after, but there really isn't much point to it because I have only used this once since the last update. This shadow, I really don't have any other shadow that I'm currently working on that it works well with, so I am using it very sparingly. Then for a shadow that starts with the letter I did actually manage to get more use out of this one. It was from the BH Cosmetics 80s Remix Dance Palette, and this palette is actually my monthly focus palette. So the shadow I'm working on is in the groove down here, befores, afters again. And I've actually used this 9 times since the last update. We aren't getting that close to hitting pan, but you can see when I twist it like this, there is quite a dip currently happening in this shadow. I do specifically tend to use this as an inner corner pop of color, which I really enjoy, and I am hoping that I might be able to get closer to pan by next update. Actually, I'm hoping to hit pan by next update. Then in update 1 for a brown shimmer, we rolled in this OXX Studio Shadows palette. This is in the shade Mocha. And specifically, we've been working on this shadow up here. Once again, befores and afters. I have only used it twice since rolling it in, but so far I am enjoying this shadow. So I didn't get too much usage out of my eyeshadows for this month. And that is definitely being able to be seen in the fact that we're not rolling anything out. I do, however, get to roll out my monthly focus palette. So let's discuss looks that I've been creating using this one, and then we can bring in my new palette. So like I said, my monthly focus palette has been the BH Cosmetics 80s Remix Dance Palette. This is what this palette looks like. It is a very bright palette, and in fact, it is the shadows I'm wearing on my eyes today. It is the last look that I have created. So I'm going to pull up on the screen the palette and the looks I've created, and we're going to run through what I've used. So my first look was on the 4th of the 2nd, and we utilized Love Struck, Kiss, Spin Me, and Virgin. This was a very pink pop Barbie look. Then on the 13th of the 2nd, we went more sunset vibes, and I used In the Groove, Super Freak, Virgin again, and Thriller. Like I said, this is very much a sunset look. Then on the 19th of the 2nd, I wanted to use more of the blues and the greens in this palette. So I utilized Spin Me, Chameleon, Wake Me Up, Man Eater, and Straight Up. And then finally, the look I created today, which is the 2nd of the 3rd, I decided to focus in on the shadows that I haven't used at all in this palette. So I could use all the shades in this palette at least once. So I used Call Me, Kiss, Conga, Sweet Dreams, Virgin, and Lips Sealed. I would say overall that the hardest shadow to incorporate into a look was Sweet Dreams. It is a very dark shade. In fact, it's black based with this beautiful blue sparkle. It is a gorgeous shadow. It is what I've got on my under eyes today, but as you can see, it is really deep and dark, and not something that overall matched all the other shadows, the other vibes in this palette. In line with that, when it comes to the inner corner highlight, really, it depends on how you wanted to utilize this palette. Like I said before, I do tend to use In the Groove for such a thing, but mainly I found I was focusing towards Virgin. I have also used Kiss as an inner corner highlight as well. But a lot of these shades are very much on the same similar wavelength, which really does create, I guess, that pop of color eyeshadow look rather than very clear differences between the deeper shade, the medium shade, the shimmer, and the inner corner highlight. I really did enjoy the looks I created with this palette, and in fact I absolutely adore this palette. I'm really happy to have it in my collection, and I hope to get additional use out of it in the future. But like I said, this one is now going to be rolling out. I do use the Tiny Decisions app to roll in my next palette. I will put this up over here. I do pre-roll it because I utilize my phone to film on. But as you can see, the palette we got was the Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette. You might remember this palette from one of my previous Dude You Panned My Battleship projects, which I did with Andrea from Pretty as a Peacock. So I will have that playlist linked up in the cards, and I'll have both the playlist and Andrea linked down in the description. That means this palette does have a lot of pans in it, and I have used this palette quite a lot in the past as part of my Dude You Panned My Battleship, meaning I did use a lot of these shadows together. It is very much a blue purple based deeper palette in comparison specifically to this one, which obviously was a lot more bright in comparison. So this is going to be a bit of a change. I'm thinking I might do at least one brown base look, and then more of a blue base look, and then a purple based look, and then something that just merges all of that together. But I am looking forward to diving into this one, and you know, it wouldn't be too bad to get some extra usage specifically over the few shadows that I am yet to hit pan in. But that is all I've got for you today. Like I said, this was going to be a very quick, sharp update before I have to head out. So until next time, I'm Verity. This was the second update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. And now to the outro.